Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of The Freak Show. I'm Sam Thurman doing a solo episode this week. We are going to talk about mindset over machine and how we need to shift our mindset in order to adapt to this AI driven reality that we are living in, specifically as it relates to our business. And honestly, I'm a hammer and chisel kind of guy. I'm not super tech savvy. You can ask my wife. She set all of this up. I had nothing to do with it. When it comes to our phones, our plan, all that kind of stuff, not interested. And when it applies to business, I've kind of had the same mindset of being somewhat technically averse because I've tried a lot of different things in my business, whether it be different CRMs or different marketing technology, things of that nature. And I've spent a lot of money on them, and some of them have worked, and some of them, many of them did not, or at least I didn't do make the effort to truly understand how to make them effective in my business. And I've always come back to the most simple version of whatever it is I'm doing. So I say all that to say I'm not a super techie guy, and I don't love it. But I mean, look, I've got my show notes are here written out by hand. I don't even have them on the computer, but I've always just kind of felt like there are fundamentals. And if you follow the fundamentals and you're consistent with the fundamentals, then ultimately you're going to be successful. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. But at the same time, I think it can be a limiting belief for me at times, especially in this day and age when AI is everywhere and it's taking over and making some businesses uh, extremely efficient. And those who aren't on board or don't have that open mindset to how they can implement AI in their business are falling behind. Um, but you, you just can't ignore this AI stuff. And if I do, I might as well literally be a hammer and chisel guy who is carving my offers and contracts in a stone tablet, because that's going to be the chasm between the people who implement and understand AI and those that don't. So, over the past few months, I'd say 4 or 5 months, I've enrolled myself in YouTube University. And as someone who had really no understanding beyond maybe some chat GPT about, did I even say it right? Chat GPT, um, had limited understanding of it. Over these past 4 or 5 months, I've dove in to the information to basically give myself a foundational understanding of, okay, what is AI? What are the fundamentals of it? But then even deeper into how can I implement AI in my real estate investing business? And what I will say, the pleasant surprise, AI thinks like I do. I'm a logic based thinker. If this, then that. If this, then that. And that's how most of the AI tools work. If this, then that. So I say that to say it's not that scary once I got into it, because I can actually see the logic and understand how it works. Now, there's a whole other language that you have to learn, APIs, schemas, JSON, all this different terminology and the different tools that go along with it. But that's going to be the case with anything new that you're learning. Any new organization you join, there's going to be an entirely new language. So that's to be expected, but it's not nearly as confusing or scary as I thought it would be in the onset. Um, and all I'm saying is, if I can educate myself on this stuff, so can you. Someone who's not a super tech savvy guy can kind of go in and get an understanding of it. It's not that crazy. I mean, there are a million different applications and tools and websites and that sort of thing out there, but just having that baseline understanding of, okay, this is what it is, and this is how I can apply it in my life and in my business. That's really where you need to be. And I think if we can all shift our mindset to get into that headspace versus ignoring it or having an aversion to it, we're going to be in a much better place immediately as well as down the road, because there's no avoiding it. We are in an AI driven time. Um, but I've been kind of going deeper, understanding the nuts and bolts of it, because my goal is ultimately not only to implement it in my current active business in real estate investing, but I also want to build a tool to offer the real estate investing community. So I really want to know the nuts and bolts of how do you build these things, how do you build these tools, so I can understand how I can apply it and how I can provide value to the industry. But you don't necessarily need to do that if that's not your goal. I think just having that understanding of, one, what are people already doing in your industry and how are they utilizing it, and how can you adopt some of those tools in your business? I think if you just do that, you're going to be, I think you're still probably going to be ahead of the curve unless you're in like the technological sphere in that industry. Obviously, I'm not really talking to you. I'm talking to those of us that we don't really implement a huge amount of technology in what we do.
Today's episode of The Freak Show is supported by Ancestral Supplements. With Ancestral Supplements, you can now add back the dense nutrition the human body craves to optimally support a vibrant life and experience improvements in energy, immunity, strength, gut and digestion, endurance, memory, vitality, sleep, and much, much more. One of the most dense sources of nutrition on the planet, their beef liver supplements aid the liver in optimizing the body's metabolic functions, helps to detoxify the body, and is integral to supporting a healthy immune system. If you don't know where to start with Ancestral Supplements, because they do have a large library of supplements, I would say start with the liver. I would also say they have a free consultation that you can take advantage of, and I would highly recommend that you do. I have emailed with them multiple times, and they have helped me tailor a supplement plan specific for my needs and health goals. Ancestral Supplements' ultra high quality liver formula is loaded with vitamins, minerals, proteins, and healthy fats that support collagen synthesis, think skin, hair, and connective tissues, immune health, and heart, brain, and liver health. Our early ancestors knew this, which is why their traditional diets included the frequent and nourishing consumption of this nutritional powerhouse. Just the liver supplement provides powerful energy, vibrant skin, fertility and fetal development, strong bones, brain power, robust immunity, strength and endurance, eye and vision health, methylation and detoxification. It's amazing, right? So amazing. Ancestral Supplements has generously offered our freak community 10% off of your first purchase with code BECKON10. Again, that's code BECKON10, BECKON 10 at ancestralsupplements.com for 10% off your first purchase. I know you are going to love this supplement company as much as Sam and I do. I have my mom on the supplements. I occasionally open the capsules and sneak some of the nutrition into my son's food. It is just next level supplementation. All right. Thank you. Enjoy. And now back to the show.
What I found is oftentimes with real estate investors, now there are the big companies that are doing thousands of transactions and millions and billions of dollars of transactions a year. Of course, they've already implemented this stuff, but us kind of like mom and pop shops, oftentimes we can be averse to it. So I'm just challenging you today to kind of shift that mindset. And let me take a peek here at my manual notes. But currently, the big topic that all of the AI industry is talking about, at least from my understanding, are AI agents. And what's happening, like Microsoft and all these companies with super fancy names that I can't remember, it seems like there are a billion of them. They're all talking about AI agents and how they're implementing those and building those and selling them to enterprise industries and businesses. They're building these this huge army of AI agents that can do tasks that currently people are doing or people have been doing. And what's happening is now those agents are 100 times more, AI agents are 100 times more efficient than the people that have been doing that task, because they never get tired. They never take a break. They just keep going. But now those people that were doing those tasks are now supervising the AI agents. So an extreme increase in efficiency, but there's still a place for the people in those roles to now supervise the AI agent army. And it's just, again, it's unavoidable. We're already there. So we have to shift our mindset. We have to get in a state of learning and understanding. I've already, in my own business, implemented an AI voice agent. It's my voice, it's my prompts, and it's a cold caller who calls commercial property owners to gauge their interest on if they're interested in selling. And again, it's my voice, my prompts. So it's basically me speaking in many ways. And since I implemented this AI voice agent, on a good day, or I'll say an average day, I could make 20 calls with all of the other tasks and things that I need to do in the day. With this AI voice agent, I can make 50, 60, 70 calls in less than an hour, because it just hammers through them. And if the people don't pick up, it leaves a message. If they do pick up, they have a quick conversation with them. If they're not interested, they move on. But if they are interested, and honestly, people haven't really called on that it's an AI agent that they're speaking to, because the technology is so good. But if they are interested, I can just break into the call and pick up and start having a regular conversation with them. And it's seamless. So the efficiency that it brings to my business is 100-fold. I basically run out of numbers to call before I run out of hours in the day. So it's just such an extreme change in efficiency in my business and how I'm implementing it. And that's just a simple example. And that was turnkey. It took me less than a day to really get that set up through the service provider that I use. So all that to say, no matter your business or even your job, it's imperative to have a basic knowledge of this stuff so we don't get left behind. So if you're like me, shift your frequency from this AI stuff doesn't apply to me to this AI stuff is going to make my life, my business, my job better. I think as we bring it all back to the frequency and the frequency of belief, that's the mindset shift that has to happen. Is we have to start opening ourselves up to it. If you're someone like me who is somewhat averse to technology. And look, there's a lot of big, scary things out there that we always are hearing about with AI and what the future looks like with AI and all the scary things that could happen. But at the end of the day, we that's I don't have any control over that stuff. I'm not calling up Elon and saying, hey, this is what needs to happen, and putting policy in place and all that sort of thing. So what I have to do is control what I can control. And that means I have to educate myself, and I have to open my mind to adopting this new technology so that I don't get left behind. So that's really it. That's my spiel. My question or my challenge to you guys today would be, how can you enhance your business and life utilizing AI? Look, it's going to take a little bit of effort. You're going to have to put in a little bit of time to learn and understand things and start messing around with the tools. But honestly, it's pretty enjoyable, and your mind will be blown with the stuff that the capability of this stuff. So put it out there to you. I implore you, please open your mind, change your mindset around it if you're resistant to it, because it is the reality of the world that we live in. And that's it for me today. As always, live on purpose, live on frequency. Thanks.
Thank you so much for listening to The Freak Show with Sam Thurmond and me, Jacqueline Steele Thurmond. We would love to connect with you via our website, beckonliving.com, and on social media.
You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at Beck and Living, and you can join our email list to receive uplifting messages, podcast and business updates, and discounts on high-frequency products just for our freaky community.
Cheers to high-frequency living.